Okay, so many of you saw the video where I talk about trucking, and I'm going to do a lot more videos on trucking. I have another channel that I'm working on with our editing team that's kind of a darker side of finance channel, and we'll definitely share some links in the community tab, but I'll just do another trucking little short here. Many people are like, Erica, what are you talking about trucking? You don't know what you're talking about. There's money being made. Yeah, there's plenty of money being made. People can still go bankrupt. People can still go under in a billion-dollar economy. Prime example right now, trucking parts. Okay, I have a 2015 truck that has been in the shop for a month now in Houston that broke down along the road with a load. And essentially, the part, they called every regional store they could find. They called stores in Florida. They called stores in Georgia. They called stores all over the place. They said, we just can't find it. We're waiting on it. We don't have an ETA on it. Well, listen, 3 weeks into it, I'm like, hey, you guys, this is outrageous that this truck is still here and doesn't have a part. It's not a chip. It's a sensor. We should be able to find it. I literally had to put half my staff on it to call around every single freightliner in the whole United States, basically. Eventually, we found one in the middle of nowhere of Detroit. Well, no, it's closer. It's above the border of Detroit. And the reason they have the part and they can get it in a week is because they're near Canada. So when people try to come on the channel or argue with me about trucking or what I know about trucking parts, the shortages of truck repair mechanics, diesel mechanics are short right now. They're short of, you name it, parts, diesel mechanics, hours, labor, service. Everywhere's, half abandoned trucks in tow yards and shipping areas. I don't really want to argue with people about the trucking industry anymore, because I've been in and out of it. I seen it firsthand. I see the way they make, money off every single thing. Every little bit of money they can tax you on, from people getting their money in advance, to marketing, to truck loans, to you name it. There's a loan for everything, from renting trailers. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. And what's going to happen here, and this is what I keep trying to tell you guys, is they're trying to pass this bill. Instead of $1 million insurance, they're going to make it $2 million minimal insurance. This is going to kill a ton of small guys. Now, let me clarify. 90% of all truck owners have 6 trucks or less. 97% of all truck companies are 20 trucks or less. And with those numbers, what you learn is those guys have pretty good insurance for those small fleets, right? So let's say you try to get on Progressive with one truck. You're going to pay like $5,000. Let's just say the policy is $20,000. It's, you don't have great credit or whatever. The policy is $20,000. They're going to make you put $5,000 down, or 25% down. Well, now with this $2 million loan minimum policy, the guy or girl who could have scrounged up $5,000, maybe from a credit card or a small loan or family, they're going to put $10,000 down. $10,000 down, because the insurance is double. So it's already going to cut a lot of people out of the industry who were able to slide through the door by financing the truck, slide through the door by financing the trailer. They're going to have a hard time getting also insurance. This is just what the truth is of the numbers. And this is why they keep saying a lot of people are going to go out of business. Now, another thing is fuel issues, trucking supply line issues, finding drivers. So right now I can tell we're in a kind of a in-between space, because our staff still every day sends out 100 contacts on Indeed looking for drivers, right? Because we have contracts that we're trying to fulfill. We're also one or two companies have tried to pay us for drivers if we can find them for them. Like, hey, Erica, please help me out. We'll pay you $500 or $1,000. And I say, it's no big deal. We'll just go, use our Indeed. We'll if we find you something, we'll give it to you. If not, you could pay us a little something. We've always done that for people in our community, people that we know. And it comes in waves. Like, for a long time, everybody's like, no. Well, now all of a sudden we see, like, every other day, 2-3 yeses. Yes. I need a job. I need to get work. And the reason a lot of people are telling guys to get their CDL before February 2022, which is next year, is because they're starting to enforce or starting to change somewhere in the law that if you got felonies, if you got all these charges, you're not going to be able to get a CDL. Well, that right there is your bread and butter of trucking. We make a joke about all these guys coming out of prison, or these guys who have felonies becoming truck drivers, because it's kind of true. And it's not uncommon to meet a guy who, I used to be hanging out and now I'm a truck driver, right? or late age truck drivers, what we call them, guys who start at 30 or 35, all of a sudden want to be a truck driver, or a guy who lost all his jobs or opportunities, and he ain't got a house, he ain't got an apartment, he ain't got nothing, him in a truck. Well, if in February, when they passed this bill along with this $2 million minimum insurance, and now you can't have felonies and all this stuff to get work anywhere, that's a problem. That's a big part of the trucking industry, is guys who are down on their luck and want to start over. And there's nothing wrong with that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Thirdly, okay, so we talked about parts. We talked about the insurance. We talked about the rules and regulations changing for hiring. Number 4 is going to be, let me make sure I wrote this down right. Number 4 is also going to be lack of parts. We're still in a lack of parts issue. Number 5 is just rules and regulations, right? Accidents, problems. Number 6, what's number 6? Just supply chain breakdowns, honestly. We have a lot of people trying to run up supply back up after they've had this long COVID run. It's hard to do. You can't keep consistent. And the thing is with drivers is, if they're somewhere and the truck breaks down and they need this part and the truck can't run, they can't make any money. So they're going to quit jobs. They're going to hop jobs left and right like they do always, but even more ferociously. So some things I see in the headlines. I'll do another in-depth video on this where I'll show more stuff on the screen, more articles. But I'll also have a lot of stuff on the other channel because I think it's important to address the dark side of things. The Classy Climb here is really for me to encourage you, uplift you, and inspire you to do more and build a future, even though news can be negative. So this is just some of the stuff, takeaways I had for trucking. And a lot of people go, well, Erica, da, da, da. I'm like, listen, I'm still neck deep in it, right? You can say, hey, I'm going to close this business today. It doesn't really mean you get to close it today. It may take you 6 months of selling trucks and selling parts and get rid of stuff to even get out of the industry. And then if you have contracts with 3PLs, you can't just close the contract with 3PL. They will charge you, okay? Some big money, okay? So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I've had one 3PL we tried to close and get rid of that truck. They're like, hey, we're going to charge you $3,000 because you're breaking the contract out of Dallas. And I'm like, are you kidding me? So again, there's a lot of stuff in the pipeline I could talk about over trucking, but you'll see it. You guys will see it. They got a lot of guys out the last year with the drug, doing the hair test instead of the P test. They got a lot of guys out in the future with felonies. They're going to get a lot of guys out with the insurance costs. So again, when people tell you can jump into trucking with like no money, you can just a credit card, maybe a couple $100. No, dude. Unless you're a driver and you're committed to this and this is your way you have to make money, no way. Like, I strongly suggest you have a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 credit card that's just for trucking expenses. So anyways, this is your girl Erica, Classy Climb blog. We'll do another one in the future on this. State of trucking.